The Action on Hearing Loss brief tasked us with creating a campaign which visualises the invisible condition of hearing loss. We chose this brief because our whole group enjoy visual storytelling and very cinematic style adverts, and since this is very serious subject matter, we thought it was a good opportunity to create something quite dark in tone, and we also had the challenge of portraying these events from the perspective of someone with a condition through camera work.
Our group decided we wanted to create 3 short adverts, most of which end abruptly to shock and intrigue the audience. The narrative isn't necessarily meant to be totally clear immediately, instead it becomes clearer throughout. It's initially more to present an ordinary scenario, for instance, a girl walking along the street, but the change in her facial expressions provides an air of disturbance. There's also no dialogue. Instead, it's the visuals and the sound that we wanted to concentrate on, all of which is from the character's perspective, which unfolds the story alongside the character's discovery that she's deaf.
The inspiration for our narratives came from case studies which showed people who have lost their hearing very suddenly. Since we were making short adverts, we decided to go along with this idea and have Layla lose her hearing while walking down the street. Many people lose their hearing due to listening to music too loudly, so we use this as a cause for our character's hearing loss. A key aim that we were briefed with was to stop the assumption that hearing loss only occurs in older people. So this is why we decided to cast our main actress Layla, who is currently a young university student. We needed to cast somebody who was able to convey what was going on through subtle facial expressions and body language. We immediately felt that Layla was perfect for this role.
One of the first steps was storyboarding. We wanted to create a narrative which very much revolves around the main character. Case studies we read actually talked about how disorientating and distressing deafness and tinnitus can be. We wanted the shots to reflect this, so we used very claustrophobic close-up shots such as tracking shots and panning around the face shots. We felt this mirrored how trapped and isolated she'd feel. We actually made a mood trailer which was made up of different types of awareness adverts, such as Deaf Poet, which is actually a kind of short film, a psychosis advert, and an autism awareness advert, all of which are very dark in tone and use disorientating close-ups. When we saw the charity's previous adverts, one of which consisted of a drill going towards a man's ear, we felt even more encouraged to stick with our dark tone because we felt this was even more intense than what we've created.
For the test shots, we didn't use any stabilising equipment, but for the real thing, we used a body-mounted glide cam, which worked well for the panning around the face shot and tracking shot. We used a Canon 80D and shot at 50 FPS, which allowed us to create slow motion in post-production.
The first 2 adverts were already very well lit, either from strong outdoor light or indoor light, but the third advert we had to introduce 2 LED lights because we were trying to imitate an evening scene where she's getting ready for a party, and we found the better lit the scene was, the easier it was to colour grade in editing. We decided to desaturate the footage and add a slight blue tone to give a kind of negative vibe and again enforce her sense of isolation. Another editing decision was to make the first 2 adverts slow motion to show how bewildered she feels. The third advert we kept in real speed because we felt this is a stage in the character's life of acceptance and this is her reality now.
The sound is crucial in our adverts as it reveals what the character is experiencing, and we also wanted the audience to identify and feel confused and uncomfortable. In the second advert, when Layla joins her friends, again from her perspective we can see that their mouths are moving and so they're talking and laughing, however all that can be heard is slight muffled voices. It's only really when the text comes onto the screen in the last advert that it is clear to the audience what the adverts are warning us against. This final screen is also essential because it contains the Action on Hearing Loss logo, which we got from the project pack.
The previous adverts are very dark and warning orientated, and the project pack said that we could choose what we wanted to do for the adverts, but we decided to go along the same sort of theme. By showing an upsetting real-life scenario, we're hoping to raise awareness for hearing loss and show that it's not just old people that suffer from hearing loss, it can be young people too, and there are factors which you can control to limit how quickly you lose your hearing.